Yo, it's me, CSCOTT, baby, back here with my review of the 1989 film House 3, The Horror Show, starring Lance Henriksen, Brian James, and is directed by James Isaac. Alright, so I was doing my research on this film because I wanted to know if it was actually supposed to be part of this franchise or not. And yes, it was originally intended to be the third in the House franchise, but they didn't market it as that because they thought, because of its serious tone, it wouldn't fit in with the rest of them. There is a serious tone. It's more serious than the first two, but there are some moments in this film that make it fit in with the rest of the first, at least the first two in this. And from what I know of the fourth one, I'm your pizza man. We'll get to that. So, yeah. So this film follows a detective played by Lance Henriksen who finally catches a serial killer named Max Jenke, played by Brian James, and he is given the death penalty, electrocution, the electric chair, and the electrocution happens in an open room, no box or no glass or anything. He's just right there. What if a rogue electric shot can fly down and hit someone? I mean, come on. I understand they probably didn't have that much of a budget, but come on. Anyway, after this happens, the detective, Henriksen, becomes haunted by the spirit of Max Jenke and starts to mess with him, question his insanity, and eventually go after his family. Yeah, so this movie's pretty good. There are some lacks in common sense in this film, though. So, I guess Henriksen doesn't care for his daughter's girlfriend or boyfriend. I'm so stupid. His daughter's boyfriend, and so on a night where he and his wife plan to have a date night, she invites her boyfriend over, and he shows up in the basement, and she tells him to stay there until her parents leave, and then he's murdered by Jenke. And I'll tell you why he can murder even though he's dead. I'll explain that, I guess. From what they explained, I'll get to that, but he's murdered, right? And a few days later, she gets a phone call from her boyfriend. It's Jenke pretending to be her boyfriend. And he tells her to go downstairs because he looked surprised. And that's where she finds his dead body. Which she went down there to find it before and couldn't find anything. So it's only when he wants her to find the dead body does she find it. She finds the dead body. Henriksen comes home because he was doing an investigation. He comes back and he's arrested for the murder. I'm assuming the daughter explained how she came to find it, right? I'm assuming she said, my boyfriend called me, told me he had a surprise for me in the basement, and when I went down there, I found his dead body. She had to have said something. She can't just accept that her dad killed her boyfriend and not question the phone call she got from her dead boyfriend. And then, okay, there's this guy, Campbell. He's a professor. He tries to talk to Henriksen earlier in the film and Henriksen won't have anything to do with him. And then when Henriksen is doing his investigation, he goes to Jenke's house. He finds all this stuff. He finds a board with, pictures of his family, Henriksen's family, picture of him in, papers and stuff. And Campbell also, trying to, figure this out, shows up, and he tells him, basically, that Jenke found a way to live on another plane of existence. When he was electrocuted, he didn't die, he just now exists on another plane of existence, which is why he still has this physical form. He can still kill people. And he's haunting Henriksen. And so that's when he rushes home. Okay, now, when Hendrickson tries to explain to the other cops about Campbell, they say they found him dead. This is after he tells them about Campbell. All the cops leave. They come back, and one of the cop played by Louis Arquette comes back, and he says he's in a body bag. It means he's dead. And he goes, and Internal Affair wants to pin both murders on you. I'm like, but does that make any sense? He was in your custody when you found the dead body. There's no fucking way he could have committed the murder. He was in police custody, right? There has to be at least like a person in that neighborhood that saw them both leave in separate cars, which means he's off the hook for the murder, right? There has to be something. If you don't see his murder on screen, at least I didn't see it. If I wasn't paying attention, I'm sorry, but it makes no sense that he's being charged with both murders. The first murder, if the daughter didn't tell them how she came to find the body, why the fuck didn't she? Where's her common sense? I mean, I know she's supposedly about to turn 18, but there are teenagers with common sense. I mean, come on. And the fact that they found a dead body while you have the person who supposedly did it in custody at the time, there's no way he could have done it. Now, of course, you can go in front of court and say he killed him before he was apprehended, but you could also, there's a way to tell how long he's been dead for, right? You have the coroner come in and do a test or something, right? And if, he was in our... his time of death was approximately this time. He was in our custody when it happened. He couldn't have possibly done it. But no, they just want to say it's him. Most likely because the Internal Affairs just wants to wrap this up. And so basically what the Internal Affairs officer is basically trying to do is say, we'll just pin it on him that we don't have to do a big investigation about it. And of course, his family doesn't believe him. But that's the one thing that pisses me off about this is that common sense is the thing. Use it, all right? I'm just saying. And it honestly, it shocks me that they didn't want to market this as part of the House franchise by saying that it's too serious and nothing like the first two when, there are some things. There's the lunch scene with the turkey where Janky takes over the turkey. He's got like a janky face on the turkey's head, talking to Hendrickson, which for some reason he can only see. And he's got a squeaky voice like the ex-wife ghoul from the first one. Come on, Luke, come on. Or something like that. There's a scene where, it's actually a funny scene, where they're watching a stand-up as a family for some reason, and it goes back and forth between it being Janky and the regular comedian. And there's a funny joke I laughed at. My wife says she likes to talk after sex. Last night she called me from California, from Las Vegas. Last night she called me from Las Vegas. It's like, she's cheating on him, whatever. But yeah, there's that scene that goes back and forth between the two, and then he pulls the gun out, points it at the... why he sits down with his family to watch TV with his gun on, I'll never know. But he pulls it out, points it at the TV screen, and the wife's like, "Oh no!" and covers the kids, and then he shoots the TV. It's very drawn out, very dramatic, very cheesy. And it does fit in with the rest of the films. The final showdown between the two is in a factory or something where he first captured him. It's like an otherworld version of this factory. And he says his wife hanged, and he goes over to it, and it's a ghoul lady, like the one in the first one. And I'm like, okay, that's like the first one. It's more serious in tone than the first two, but I think it fits with the other two. I haven't seen the fourth one yet, but I do know some of it. I'm your pizza man. We'll get to that. But it does fit. And then the ending is so much like the ending in the first one, where everything's all happy and hunky-dory and everything. And it fits in with that, where like he's going through this thing where he's going into his house to save his family. he finds his daughter pregnant with Genki's head popping out of her body. He finds his son dead, stabbed in the ear apparently, which fits because he was always listening to music. And then the cat is murdered. The wife finds the cat murdered with the ghost of the little girl who Genki's slit her throat at the beginning when he failed to save. But she didn't know what she looked like. I don't understand that part, but and then he and his wife are the ones that defeat Genki. They electrocute him back into our reality, and they somehow end up in Genki's house. And then Henriksen shoots him a bunch of times, and he's dead. And then we have this whole thing. There's a running joke thing that Scott, not me, the son, is calling out hoaxes. Like for instance, he found a thumb in his chili, or he found a hair in his Nestle Quick. Stuff like that to get free stuff. And then you see this truck pull up with a bunch of chili that Scott gets. You can see he doesn't really care for it. And then, everyone's alive. The wife, of course, but the daughter, the son, they're alive. And the cat's alive. They find the cat in a box. I was expecting, like when he says, go on the Facebook, you might find a surprise. And I'm like, oh, the boyfriend's going to still be alive, too. Which makes no sense because they found his body. But it's the cat that's still alive. And then it's so fucking cheesy at the end. Henriksen puts his arms around his kids and they take a picture and he's smiling. And it's just like, that fits in with the rest of the series. At least so far I've seen, that really fits in. The cheesiness of it. I don't understand why they couldn't market this as the third one. I know it's not connected, but the first two one connected. And this one, like I said in my review for the first one, it's funny that they originally wanted the first one to be a segment in an anthology film because all four of these films, at least from what I know of them, feel like an anthology of their own, but they're each an hour and a half long each. I said each twice, but they're 90 minutes each. But it's like one big 5-hour, 6-hour anthology. You sit there and watch it, binge it all four of them at once. But yeah, it's just, I just find that very ironic. They wanted the first one to be a segment of an anthology, but stretched it out to a full film. And then these other ones, like completely different stories. And we'll get to the fourth one because it's somewhat connected, but it's somewhat not. I have my theories on that. But yeah, this one is pretty good. I'm gonna give it an 8, back up there with the first one because it's pretty good. It's got its cheesiness, of course, but Lance Henriksen gives it his all, 110%. You know, you go out there and you give your 110%, and you want to do good, and you hope you do good, and I think you did pretty good out there tonight. So I keep quoting Bedazzled, but I love that quote. But yeah, he's great in this film, especially when it comes to his family. He really wants to help his family, you know. We got a cameo from Matt Clark. I want to mention it because I know him as Walt from the Jeff Foxworthy Show. I think he's great in that. He's okay in this. He's like a therapist or something. But yeah, this is pretty good. 8 out of 10 for me. So what are your thoughts on House 3, the horror show? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.